all levels down the road. Thirdly, is to raise the fundamental constitutional issues that neither of the two other major parties are raising. Now, they'll skirt around the edges of it. They talked a little bit about the electronic surveillance law, but neither of them talked about the fundamental violation to the fundamental notion of privacy and the Fourth Amendment in our country. For example, they won't even talk about habeas corpus, supporting the Bush administration view that it's a quaint, outdated notion, the John Yoo approach. They will not talk about the fundamental notion of George Washington or Thomas Jefferson about the dangers of foreign entanglements and why that's so destructive of the fabric of our country. They won't talk about what a $3.1 trillion budget is. Where does the authority to raise that obscene amount of money by threat of force from the American taxpayer? They won't talk about the philosophical contradiction of saying, oh, we support free enterprise, even as the American businesses and families are paying for $1 trillion a year just in the hidden cost of regulation. They won't talk about any of those issues. So we intend to, in other words, raise the level of substantive debate, open up the political system beyond the two-party system once and for all, and thirdly, to win, if we can get into the debates.
Right. Congressman Barr, aside from telling people that in spite of your history as a Republican, that you've seen the light and come to the Libertarian Party, what can we tell people when they say, well, I don't feel comfortable with Barr because he voted for the Patriot Act, or because he was such a staunch drug warrior? What can we, because we've met some pretty diehard libertarians, and they're not convinced and comfortable yet. What can we tell them other than Bob Barr has had his conversion experience?
Well, I think a couple of things. One, we've already crossed that bridge. Either they support the Libertarian Party and support the Libertarian movement and the Libertarian platform and agenda, or they don't. Bob Barr, whether they like it or not, is the standard bearer for the Libertarian Party. And if we waste a lot of time trying to convince libertarians that their standard bearer really is their standard bearer, we're wasting an awful lot of very productive effort and resource and energy that we could be devoting to people that will understand that despite the fact that there may be some differences, we believe and are the only party, the only candidate that will move the liberty agenda forward. Those are the people we need to be reaching, to be honest with you. If people want to see what I stand for, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we have literally already, just since May 25th, when I was selected as a nominee, dozens of papers on our website addressing everything from drug policy to tax policy, Social Security policy, foreign interventions, and so forth. For heaven's sake, I don't know how much clearer we can make it. And if people still refuse to see it or are skeptical, I would just very politely move on to somebody else where our efforts are going to bear some fruit.
So we can just tell them, without exception, you support the Libertarian platform, end of story.
I don't support every single aspect of the Libertarian platform, the same as I didn't support every single aspect and nuance of the Republican platform. That's not my point. My point is that if they still need to convince that Bob Barr is not fully committed to liberty and to taking the Libertarian Party to a level it has never been before on the national level and really opening up opportunities to move the liberty agenda forward, which have never been available from a practical standpoint to us in the past, if they don't believe that and they don't understand that, you're probably wasting your energy and your breath in spending time with them, and you'd be much better off addressing people that are not so wedded to a purist view of a party's platform that they will not accept somebody that might only agree with them 98%. And you might also mention that Bob Barr has a lot better stuff to do and things to do than be out there just trying to win the presidency because he doesn't really believe in what he's doing. I mean, I've got a lot better things to do, and I'm much more honest with myself, my family, and all of my friends, including all of us in the Libertarian Party, than to do otherwise. Thank you. Where's our chair? I think he wanted to just do some one-on-one for a little bit. Mike, one more question?
Oh, just on a lighter note, you know that the Chicago Cubs swept the Atlanta Braves, right?
They did what?
They swept the Braves.
Someone else is good. Okay. This is a rebuilding year for Atlanta. But it is going to be a winning year for the Libertarian Party.